Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on Die Hart 2, Die Harter, starring Kevin Hart as himself, trying to be an action star. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books, links in the description. Comedy Heart in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 14, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. Now, I like Kevin Hart. It's funny enough, amusing, and this was a good premise for the first film. I don't know if there's a real need for a second film of this, a sequel. The first film had like John Travolta and Josh Hartnett and a few other people. This one looks cheaper somehow. Really cheap, like lettering effects. And John Cena's in it, who I'm going to say right up front, I can't stand John Cena. But I do like Ben Schwartz, and I like Kevin Hart. So it could be good, but it looks like the same damn movie, only ridiculous. And John Cena just looks ridiculous. I mean, that wig doesn't look like it's his hair at all. He's not, in my view, he's not a good actor. I still can't quite forgive him for his ridiculous apology to the Chinese. And I just don't think he's too, how do I describe this? Like The Rock, in 1 or 2 movies, he's okay. Like the one with the muscle car, and then No Pain, No Gain, I think it was called, with from Michael Bay. Like those 2 movies, he's okay in those. I've yet to see John Cena in anything I believe him in. Whether he's like an agent with guns, maybe his other comedy roles to some extent, but he's just kind of clownish, and he's not quite funny enough to be a comedian, and he's not quite a good enough actor to pull off any kind of thing serious. Dave Bautista, not bad in some roles. Like, I like him a lot in Guardians of the Galaxy. And maybe 1 or 2 other roles. He's got some amount of acting chops. John Cena, I'll tell you the one thing I liked him in was his Suicide Squad movie. That he was good at. Like, but he strikes me as a guy who needs a ton of direction. And the moment you lose focus off of him, you know, it's not going to be good. You can't give John Cena a lot of leash. You have to say, no, say it this way. I think. His skills aren't quite there. So that's, to me, a big problem. So the plot of the movie is Kevin Hart wants to be an action star, and he's playing himself, right? And this is essentially the first movie, but he wants to be an action star, and he's a comedian, and Hollywood doesn't want to give him the chance. So he meets with an executive in the beginning of the movie, and he stages a group of terrorists that come into a restaurant, and then he beats them up. Right? So it's like, see, I'm an action star. And they even give him a one-liner. He takes like a side of beef and says, "Nice to beef you," and hits the guy with the beef, whatever. It's amusing. I mean, I don't find it out loud hilarious, and I feel like you just did this in another movie. What was the ending of that? And I hadn't even gotten around to seeing that other movie, so feels like they're doing this awfully soon, but okay. Ben Schwartz is, I don't know, I guess he's his assistant or driver. Schwartz is pretty good in that kind of role where he's like the funny sidekick. He was the sidekick for Aziz Ansari on Parks and Rec. He was pretty funny in that. So it's not, these 2 aren't too bad. They're comedic. They're funny. They got good energy. You know, even though they're sort of retreading the first movie. But John Cena, no. The guy, they needed a real action guy. Like a real action guy. to be in this, like Sylvester Stallone or Liam Neeson or someone like that. Somebody to actually do the serious face of, I want you to get out of my cabin or I'm going to shoot you. And like deliver that line. John Cena do it? I don't believe him. I just don't believe him in the role. You need, and then to put him in the wig, it's too ridiculous. John Cena's character has to be the serious one. That's the one you should have cast, a guy who had done action movies. Frank Grillo, another guy, would have been fine for it. Dolph Lundgren. Anybody from the Expendables. Jason Statham. Although he doesn't really do a lot of comedies. John Cena, nah. They keep putting him in things, but I keep going, nah. That's just me. So would I see this? No. First act, Kevin has a meeting, wants to be an action star. The studio doesn't want to let him. He's frustrated, driving around with Ben Schwartz. Somehow he gets a meeting with another guy who wants to get revenge on him for some reason, and they kidnap him. And they take him to some location. They're going to torture and kill him. Somehow Kevin, acting, actually defeats the bad guy. He still thinks he's in a movie that they're shooting. They're improvising. He escapes. He finds the studio executive. He frees her. He's still convinced he's in a movie. And that's kind of fun. That's kind of funny. They're shooting at him. And he's like, no, it's a movie. And then finally he gets like grazed by a bullet. And he sees the blood and he faints. You know, it sounds like bits from the first movie. But I didn't see the first movie. So, I mean, they easily could have put those bits in it. So eventually he figures out, oh my God, they are trying to kill me. Second act. He gets with Ben Schwartz. I don't know what happens to the studio exec. I guess she hides or whatever. And then Kevin's going to do something with Ben Schwartz to figure out how they're going to get out of this mess. The solution apparently is to go to John Cena, who's an actual soldier or action guy. And then he's going to help him. But again, I think he's completely wrong for the role. So then John Cena and they team up to go after the bad guys in hilarious fashion. And then they win again, but still they won't cast Kevin in a movie. So I think this should have just been one movie. I think one movie covers this. Two movies... I guess the first one did good enough. They were like, oh, we could probably do a second. Make some money. So something's wrong with the person who put this up, though. It's not. It says Die Har with a 2 instead of a T. It should be Die Hart 2, Die Harter, and they've repeated the mistake down here. Weird. Hart plans an innovative action film with unscripted, unexpected scenes to cement his legacy as the greatest. The greatest what? However, a blind spot leads him to fall victim to a vengeful plot from his past. It's not really a good synopsis. Yeah, not a good synopsis. But I think they're trying to avoid sounding like the first movie. Essentially, it's the same damn movie. But you should make jokes about that. I mean, it's a comedy movie. It's fine that it's the same. That, you know, what they should do, if they're going to call it Die Hart, is follow they should try to follow the Die Hard movies to some extent. Like, so the second Die Hard movie, I think that's the one that takes place in the airport. But maybe they didn't have the budget for that. But maybe that's what it could have been, you know? Or maybe he could have gotten trapped in a much smaller airport. And or the bad guys have a headquarters there. And so it's a parody of that more directly. Could have been fun. I don't know. You know, at this point, I mean, Die Hard, it's a movie. It's almost 40 years old. I love Die Hard. I love the Die Hard franchise for the most part. I like Kevin Hart. I like Ben Schwartz, but I don't really see the need for a second movie of this. But you know, and it doesn't help John Cena's in it. I would sooner go watch the first movie than this one. I mean, it just doesn't. You know, even this cabin. What is this? Yeah, the cabin. Not really. Feels like a cabin they built just for the movie. So May 30th. And yeah, that's the studio exec. This is Kevin doing his shtick. You know, just make a comedy movie with Kevin playing himself. You know? Weird he's wearing his own t-shirt too. But, you know, he's having fun with it. I'll give him that. But Kevin's the guy who can have fun. John Cena has to be a serious guy. This isn't a serious scene. And it undermines, like, if you're going to play a serious soldier dude, give him a reasonable haircut, number one. Don't give him this blonde wig. Don't put him in a Komodo just for the laugh. You know? And have him come out with a much better weapon than a crossbow. I mean, why not have a gun? Why did you go with a crossbow? Is there something wrong with the gun? You know? He would have been more menacing. John Cena had to be menacing for this movie to work, and I just don't see it. Anyhow, enough of me complaining. That's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. I was thinking about doing a live stream today. I may very well do it at some point. I'm having technical issues. My Chrome browser, I don't know what happened. It's crashed or something's gone very wrong. You remember everybody chastised me for having so many tabs open? Well, it's finally come. It's the tabs have come home to roost, everyone. Something happened with the browser and it completely crashed, and now I'm transferring all my stuff to another browser in order to hopefully avoid this problem in the future. I literally can't get Chrome to open now. It's really annoying. So I'm switching over to the Brave browser, and so I may not have time for it. But then again, I may just want to try it to make sure it works. So I don't know if I do it. When am I going to do it? I don't know. Maybe I'll do it after dinner this evening. If anybody has any suggestions for a good live stream, I don't want to do another Hollywoke one. I just did one yesterday. Maybe we'll do politics, as much as I could do without getting in trouble from YouTube. So can't really do it. Maybe I'll do a Rumble one. Yeah, but that kind of defeats the purpose. No, I definitely want to do a YouTube one. So maybe we will do politics, or maybe I'll do a Piney podcast, but I don't know. Maybe we'll just do all-inclusive. Yeah, we'll be very inclusive, YouTube. We'll do some sort of all-inclusive live stream. I'll just improv it. Improv. Anyhow, we'll see you in the next one.